This morning, a warning to parents and kids from a concerned parent.
Yeah, an Albuquerque mother says a man flashed her teen daughter outside her home in broad daylight. The mother says she and her 14-year-old daughter were bringing in the trash bins from the curb around 6 Wednesday evening. She says a man in a car like this one pulled up in their neighborhood near Yale and Gibson and asked her teen daughter for directions, then did this.
That's when she noticed that he was sitting there without pants on, and that he had his right hand on the steering wheel and his left hand on his private parts.
So the man drove off and the family called police. The teen described the suspect as a thin Hispanic man in his early 20s wearing black sunglasses that wrapped around his face. Police say he could face an aggravated indecent exposure charge. That's a 4th-degree felony because the victim was underage.
Santa Fe police are urging anybody else who might have been victimized by this man to come forward this morning. 44-year-old Michael Collins is accused of drugging and raping women, even videotaping some of those rapes. He's facing a number of charges, including that of rape, and police believe there may be more victims.
If you are a victim, please call us. If you feel like you may know a victim, contact Santa Fe Police Department.
Police responded to a call last week after Collins pointed a rifle, they say, at a woman. After searching his home, officers say they found videotapes showing him raping women and other voyeuristic videos.
And this morning, UNM students are breathing a little sigh of relief after at least one suspected groper is charged with the crime. Police say 50-year-old Henry Budford is now charged for holding a woman against her will and grabbing her chest. It happened Monday outside the bookstore where Budford was panhandling. The student gave him food and money and started praying with him when she says he attacked her. Police people, including a library worker, spotted Budford on campus and called police because he fit the description.
503, the state says it is working to bump up graduation rates across New Mexico with a new initiative. To improve the 70% graduation rate, Governor Susana Martinez says there will be 59 new full-time staff positions at 21 school districts in the state. They include social workers at middle schools and dropout and truancy coaches at high schools. In Albuquerque, Atrisco, West Mesa, and Albuquerque High will all get help. The new employees are expected to start by the end of this year.
Happening today, New Mexico's very own RoboCop will be sworn in this morning as a reserve deputy with the Bernalillo County Sheriff's Department. Jeremy Romero was hurt in January of last year when he wrecked his Corrales police patrol car during a chase. He was paralyzed but walks with the help of an exoskeleton machine. Romero says he cannot imagine any career but law enforcement. He'll be working at the academy.
Happening right now, history is being made in Cuba, where the American flag will soon fly for the first time in 54 years at the U.S. Embassy. Secretary of State John Kerry will raise the flag in Havana this morning. Kerry will also be meeting with Cuba's foreign minister, Cuba's Roman Catholic Archbishop, and a group of protesters. The Cuban flag is already flying at its embassy in Washington, D.C.
State cop killer who fled our country to Cuba still waking up a free man protected by the borders there. And he still insists he's not guilty of that crime.
I did not kill Officer Rosenblum, and that, it's sad.
So that's Charlie Hill. He recently spoke with CBS this morning after relations between the U.S. and Cuba have recently been repaired. Some wonder if this means the Cuban government will soon start working with U.S. officials to extradite wanted men like Hill. Hill fled to Cuba in 1971 after he and 2 other members of the nationalist group hoping to create a separate black country were accused of fatally shooting state police officer Robert Rosenblum. Even if he did come back, DA Carrie Brandenburg says convicting him 44 years after the crime will not be easy.
Witnesses are not available. A lot of people have died. I mean, their memories certainly aren't what they were in 1971.
Brandenburg promises a fair trial, saying her goal is to see that justice is done.
We turn to Washington, D.C. this early hour, where the Pentagon says there are signs that ISIS is looking to expand and adapt. According to a senior Defense Department official, the terror group used the chemical agent mustard gas while fighting Kurdish forces in Iraq. Authorities say prior information is helping them determine that the reports are credible, but officials will not elaborate beyond that.
We turn now to this very controversial story. An 11-year-old girl has given birth in Paraguay. Authorities say the girl got pregnant after she was allegedly raped by her stepfather. A Red Cross official says the girl gave birth yesterday morning via C-section. Paraguay refused to give the girl an abortion, saying there was no indication the girl's health was at risk. The country does not allow abortions unless a mother's life is in danger. The stepfather is being held on rape charges this morning.
Alabama woman is behind bars this morning after she tried to cut through the jail fence to bring in what authorities are calling contraband. You can see this all happening on surveillance video from the jail. Authorities say that's 42-year-old Talisha McCann using bolt cutters to get into the prison yard. The sheriff says McCann had 2 gallon-sized bags of tobacco, a small amount of Suboxone strips, and a cell phone that she was trying to smuggle in. McCann was just released herself from jail 2 weeks ago, and now she's on probation.
That's interesting.
Very interesting.
You would think she'd want to stay out of prison.
Exactly. A lot of people try to get out, you know.
So happening today in just a few hours, Governor Susana Martinez and officials from a number of state agencies will be in Farmington, all to discuss long-term monitoring of the Animus spill.
And this all comes a day after the EPA's top administrator visited Farmington. She got an earful from one person.
How much of a fine are you going to pay us?
We will hold ourselves to the highest standard.
Gina McCarthy says her agency is responsible for the spill that sent about 3 million gallons of wastewater from a Colorado mine into the Animus River. Initial testing from the city of Farmington shows slightly higher than safe levels of lead in the river water through town, but the river remains closed today.
The very good news is that we see that this river is restoring itself.
The EPA says there's about $500,000 available for New Mexico farmers to use for crop irrigation and livestock. Officials also set up a hotline for anyone with questions about the spill. We posted that right now on the KRQE News app.
Also happening today, Senator Martin Heinrich is expected to join the San Juan County Fire Department to meet with and deliver clean water to residents affected by the spill. Then this afternoon, he heads to Window Rock, where he's expected to meet up with the Navajo Nation President, Russell Blagay, to discuss recovery efforts in the tribal nation.
Public meetings are being held all week, too. Tonight's actually starts at 6 o'clock in Farmington. Federal, state, local officials will all be giving updates on the Animus spill and recovery. It's being held in the Farmington Civic Center. We'll be in Farmington this morning when Governor Martinez arrives. Get the latest on the Animus River toxic waste on air and on the KRQE News app.
We turn out to news happening overnight. One person is dead after a single motorcycle crash on I-40 that was just west of Atrisco in Albuquerque. It happened around 9 o'clock last night near the Route 66 casino. The rider's identity has not been released at this time. There's no word on what caused the crash. A Bernalillo County Sheriff's deputy that was responding to the crash ended up getting involved in the crash himself. He is expected to be okay.
Time is 5:33 this morning. Albuquerque police are back out watching for speeders in school zones. Dozens of drivers are paying tickets from the first day of school. Listen to this. APD says in 2 locations near schools, officers gave out 62 speeding tickets in an hour. That's about 1 ticket per minute.
No child or crossing guard should have the risk of being hit by vehicles traveling too fast through the school zones. And that's why we're out here. We have traffic officers throughout the city enforcing school zone violations.
Police are reminding people that the speed limit is 15 miles per hour in school zones and fines are double.
She says it came to her in a vision. A Santa Fe artist says when she saw it, she had to recreate it.
And now that vision is actually gaining worldwide attention. News 13's Catherine Mazzone explains. Catherine?
Good morning, Adam, Crystal. Bobby Bennett has been taking photos for 3 decades now. In fact, she took this award winner when she was only 25 years old. Now it's set to go on display at the Louvre in Paris.
It's mainly the new show, which is called Home on the Range.
Photographer Bobby Bennett shows us some of her most recent work.
I have experienced the landscape here, which I love, and that's actually what this new body of work is.
But lately, Bennett's been getting a lot of attention for a photo she took more than a decade ago.
My whole concept with this is called Fallen Angels, and basically they're coming out of the sky to be our protectors.
It's one of 150 chosen for the International Exposure Award.
And I actually couldn't believe I was one of the winners. When I was submitting, I was like, there's thousands and thousands and thousands of people. I don't even know why I'm doing this. And so when I got it, I almost fell off my seat. I had to read it like 3 times.
The award means Fallen Angels will be published in a book and featured at the famous Louvre in Paris.
This piece really has impact on people's lives, and there's so much going on in our society, and it's just really, again, it's a reminder of faith, and there's a higher power, and And people just, I think they always want to believe in angels, and they look kind of real.
They look real because those are real people. Bennett says she put the models in front of a background and painted them. Then she added props, like the wings. Lights, filters, and a fog machine give the angels that heavenly aura.
This piece is all done through props and setup. There's no Photoshop manipulation.
In fact, Bennett hardly ever uses software to alter her photos.
So I'm totally old school. I still shoot traditionally and I print traditionally.
That means using this old Kodak to create her masterpieces. It doesn't even have a viewfinder.
So you have to really feel the land.
But Bennett says that's easy in New Mexico. She says she felt called to Santa Fe.
It's just become a haven.
After spending time in the land of enchantment, Bennett says she understands why so many artists are drawn here.
The light here is phenomenal. It's like no place I've ever been to. It's almost like a different planet. It's the light.
Now, Bennett says Bennett's Fallen Angels is on permanent display in Santa Barbara. Her next show is in September in LA, but has work on display right now in the Drury Hotel in Santa Fe. Back to you.
Bennett has actually gotten a lot of attention online for Falling Angels, too. In fact, she sold the last one last week after a collector from Virginia saw it on Facebook.
Pretty cool. New Mexico green chili growers say they need more help getting you your green chili. Now they're asking for a guest worker program to help deal with the decline of workers. Listen to this. Last year, New Mexico saw a 10% decline in acres harvested. Farmers blame the drought and labor shortages. The Chili Commission says U.S. citizens are opting not to work in the fields, creating a shortage of pickers. They say new temporary immigrant workers could be a solution to that. Listen to this bizarre story out of Arkansas where a monkey is being held by animal control after it bit an employee at Target. It all happened last weekend when a couple brought the monkey with them to Target. Target officials say at some point it bit one of their employees. Animal control officials could not find the couple who had the animal, so they sent out this alert on social media. The couple then came forward. Now the monkey's under observation to see if there's any sign of disease. Get this, in Arkansas, those type of monkeys, they're legal to have as pets.